What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Camper Report. Um, I was going to be videoing this last night, but now we're here late morning, 10:43, where I am on the in Colorado Mountain Time. But we were going to do this last night, but I was getting prepared for it, and then I was like, it is super late. And so I was like, I'm gonna go wake up tomorrow, do some school, and then record it. So this is part two of the NFL recap. We'll be kind of recapping what happened to the 49ers. Quick announcement, everyone. Either tonight or tomorrow, I will be doing my live show, breaking down kind of things that have been happening around the 49ers, breaking down the 49ers versus Vikings game more into depth, as well as their next matchup versus the Bengals. So we'll be doing all of that and more in the show, most likely happening tomorrow. But yeah, that's mostly what I will be doing. And then on Saturday, I'll probably be coming out with another video, a quick video, 6-7 minutes, breaking down some of the bigger matchups there. I don't want to really take too much of your guys' time today because we've got a good amount to talk about. We'll be talking about Eagles Dolphins, breaking that matchup, what happened in that matchup down, and how the Eagles are becoming lethal. Another thing that I will be doing most likely on Saturday, also breaking down my top 5 teams in the NFL. I was going to do that today, and let's do that tomorrow. I'm going to do that tomorrow on my live stream where I'm going to mainly be talking about the Niners, which is what I do. I usually do a live stream once a week talking about the Niners, but I also will be talking about the NFL's top, or in my opinion, the NFL's top 5 teams. So that will all be going on tomorrow with the live stream. But let's get to the week 7 recap. Eagles versus Dolphins, and Eagles, in my opinion, are the number one NFL team. I'll give you a sneak peek to who's number one on my list, and that is the Eagles. I hate to say it because I really hate this team so much, but what happened in this Dolphins game? Well, I think the Eagles did a really nice job of just getting pressure on Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, here's an example that I kind of have written down in my notes. 3rd and goal at the 22 of the Eagles. So the Dolphins were backed up. They had a few penalties. It was 3rd and goal. But yeah, 3rd and goal in the red zone. The Dolphins were in the red zone. 22 of the at the 22 of the Eagles. So in the red zone, and basically I had him in my notes. Tua was under so much pressure that whole game. This was in the let's see. This was in the first half, and I believe it was their first field goal. So in the Dolphins, I believe it was their first field goal, their first points. It was 3-0. And Tua, it was 3rd and goal, right? He basically, the pressure already all game had been coming at the Dolphins all game long. And he had to get it out so fast because the Eagles' defensive line was getting pressure on him so quick. That's something that the Eagles did so well today. But basically, my point is, he on this play, he checked it. I think it was like a 5-yard out route that Tua failed to complete. And then it was a 4th down, and the Dolphins settled for a field goal. My point is, the Eagles, their defensive line, this game was dominant. They were getting home on Tua all game long. And again, what did the Eagles do right? So, I mean, their defensive line, as long as their defensive line is playing like that, I don't see a lot of teams stopping the Eagles necessarily. I mean, the Dolphins were really feeling the absence of Teron Armstead, but at the same time, I mean, Nolan Smith got a sack, his first sack of the season. Josh Sweat got a sack. I believe Brandon Graham got a sack. Jordan Davis got a sack. So everyone was feasting on this Eagles defensive line. It doesn't help that the Dolphins, without Teron Armstead, do not have a good offensive line, and they were at a major disadvantage. But it's just, when the Eagles defensive line is playing like that, not too many teams are going to be able to stop them. There's really not going to be too many, especially since the Eagles just traded for Kevin Bayard from the Titans, which I can put that in. Hold on. I was going to talk about that today. Safety Kevin Bayard, Eagles traded for him a few days ago. And what will this do for the Eagles? Well, it's going to bring so much more depth to that team. And now it's like, do the Eagles even have a weakness really on their defense except from nickel corner? Maybe. I mean, the Kevin Bayard trade really seems to fix a lot of that stuff. I saw a stat the other day that I sent to my brother about the Eagles, and it says the Titans should be banned from trading with the Eagles. AJ Brown this year has 803 yards on the season so far. The whole entire Titans receiving core this year has less than AJ Brown. They have 789 yards. So here, I can show it to you guys on my phone. Basically, the Titans receiving core combined has less than AJ Brown in receiving yards this year. And so it is funny because the Titans, they should stop trading with the Eagles because they're just giving them all these good players for free. But yeah, Dolphins, Eagles defensive line was playing great. Eagles offensively were just, they definitely figured it out a lot more in this game. There was a lot more complaints about their offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson, but this game, they really took what the defense gave them. In the first half, they did slants and screens, and the Dolphins know, their defense knows that the Eagles love to go deep. They love to make big plays. So the Dolphins were trying to take away the Jalen Hurts deep ball by playing a more softer coverage. And so the Eagles said, all right, we're going to, instead of going deep with the ball, we're just going to check it down and throw a bunch of screens to AJ Brown, and you guys are going to have to live with that. And so, I mean, the first Eagles TD was off of, I believe, a Dallas Goedert screen. They went up 10-3 on that first TD. So, like, the Dolphins, I feel like, played the Eagles right, but the Eagles just knew that, okay, we can play the deep ball game, but we can also throw a bunch of short slants and kill you that way. And that really what makes the Eagles offense so dangerous is they can kill you in so many different ways. And then again, Dolphins did a terrible job of containing Jalen Hurts. Absolute terrible job. There was the TD drive to Brown where in the first half. Yeah, so yeah, the TD drive that they had to Brown in the first half. That drive, the Eagles the Eagles basically, the Dolphins let Jalen Hurts, like, they lost contain of Jalen Hurts 3 separate times. You saw on that drive, Jalen Hurts scrambles out, fires it to AJ Brown or a few other guys 3 separate times. And so the contain on Jalen Hurts was not very good. They didn't contain him in the pocket. They did a terrible job at doing that. So yeah, I think the Eagles, as long as they continue to play offensively in the pass game like they did last game, I think it could be very, very beneficial. And they're very similar to the Chiefs. Both the Chiefs and the Eagles are starting to figure out how to play on offense. Both teams started off a little bit slow on offense. Now they're kind of starting to figure it out. And that's what's most important. So, yeah, Eagles Dolphins game was not pretty. Just an absolute clinic that the Eagles put out there at the end of the game. It was close for a while. Dolphins came storming back. But at the end of the day, Eagles get it done. Let's go to the 49ers Vikings game. This game was embarrassing. This game, I did not expect the 49ers to lose. This game was just, I can't even really put it into words what I feel for my team right now. But, and I will break this down more tomorrow, so I'm not going to go much into detail. But what happened to the 49ers? Well, their first few drives, right? The 49ers are usually able to start off really fast right away. And so usually the 49ers strength is getting up early, right? Getting up early, getting 10, 14 to 10 points right away in the first two drives. We've always said as Niners fans, the 49ers first two drives are the best drives of the game, right? In this game though, so the first drive, obviously we got an interception off of Kirk Cousins. By the way, I really liked Charvarius Ward, what he did in this game, but we got an interception off of Kirk Cousins. We go down, Christian McCaffrey fumbles. The next drive, we go down again. We settle for a field goal. Jake Moody misses it, right? And so already the first two drives, we didn't score. And so I feel like that kind of took the momentum out of the 49ers sails instantly right off of the gate. And after that, our offense was just stagnant and we didn't have a lot of confidence because we didn't score on the two drives that we really had a great chance to score on. We didn't convert. And so this game was riddled by mistakes and just so many different things. I mean, the 49ers turned it over 3 times on offense. And we already know when the 49ers do turn it over, they're a lot less likely to win because they're not used to playing from behind. That's another thing. Brock Purdy, this is why I have my questions about him is when it really comes down to it, when he has to make that important throw, is he going to hit that important throw? And we haven't seen it yet, and we didn't see it in this game. Now, I will say, hold on. Yeah. I will say that I think Purdy played really well up until he he threw his first interception. I believe at one point in the game he was 11 for 13. So, he played actually really clean, and then he obviously threw his interception, but the first interception, what I saw on that is Brock Purdy anticipating too much of where the safety and the receiver was going to be. And on that play, Jawan Jennings got a little bit like stalled by the Vikings cornerback. The Vikings cornerback pushed him out of the way a little bit. And Jawan Jennings wasn't able to get to the spot that Brock Purdy was throwing to at the right time. And Brock Purdy anticipated too much and threw the interception. So that actually almost is a good thing to me, in my opinion, because Brock Purdy was anticipating that he would be there and he was not there. And so I would say, Brock Purdy, it was his fault, but his anticipation on that play was really well, and I like to see that. In the defense, 2 guys that need to get off of the field. Isaiah Oliver, I counted in the second half 7 or 6 catches given up by Isaiah Oliver alone. They were roasting him utterly the whole game. They would put Jordan Addison on Isaiah Oliver. They were putting, what's the other? KJ Osborne on Isaiah Oliver. It didn't matter who Isaiah Oliver was guarding or blocking. He was still going to get beat. So that was the most frustrating thing. And then I came to the realization in this game that Trent Williams really is the biggest key to our whole success this season. I thought it was Christian McCaffrey, but it's Trent Williams. It is Trent Williams. Jalen Moore was terrible. Every time the 49ers even tried to run it to that side, to the left side, that run was getting blown up. So Jalen Moore was terrible, and the pass game was just all around just not good. And I don't like to see that. I don't like to see that at all. Trent Williams is huge to the 49ers' success because every time Brock Purdy dropped back, there was pressure in his face. Every time. So that's kind of what I got to say on that. I'll go into more depth tomorrow when I actually do my live show on the Niners. It's funny because I had this separate sheet because I ran out of paper to write notes on. So I had this separate sheet with the 49ers notes, and I left it over there. So while I was speaking, I was trying to look for my notes, but I was kind of going off the cuff there. But let's get to the division updates. This will just take really quick. So there was a huge shakeup around the NFL. The AFC North, let's start with the AFC North. Bengals had a bye week, and they lost tremendously during that bye week. Every single team, while the Bengals were having their bye week, won. So the Ravens won, the Steelers won, as well as I'm trying to think here. Let me go back and look. As well as the Browns winning with the Colts. So the Bengals, they say that you cannot lose a bye because you're not losing to a team. You can lose a bye. And the Bengals definitely lost a bye because they went from being tied for second in their division to being last in their division by a whole game. So that was Bengals definitely lost. And it's a competitive division. It is a competitive division because you look at from two, you have the Ravens, they have half a game up on the Steelers and Browns, but the first place, the Ravens have to keep winning because they're 5-2, Steelers are 4-2, and Browns are 4-2. So the Ravens have to keep winning if they want to keep that number one spot in their division. AFC East. Dolphins got saved by the Bills losing as well. They kind of keep that seeding because of the Bills losing. But now, because of the Bills losing, and the Jets have now won 2 straight, and they had a bye, the Bills are only half a game ahead of the Jets. And now, we were saying a few weeks ago the Jets' season is over. Now the Jets have a chance to take second and maybe even first seed in their division. So that's kind of cool. AFC North. There was a huge shakeup around the league. AFC North. Sorry. Let's see. Why did I write AFC North twice? Let's get to NFC South. NFC South. Tight race. Falcons beat the Falcons beat the Buccaneers to take the lead in the division, but they're still only half a game ahead of the Buccaneers, as well as the Saints only being one game back from first seed. So, Falcons, Buccaneers, and Saints, it's anybody's race at this point. And then NFC West, 49ers, Seahawks. We were sitting here 3 weeks ago saying the 49ers have a tight lock on the Seahawks. We're one game ahead, but we've been winning, and I didn't see the Seahawks jumping us. Now, the 49ers are only half a game back, or only half a game ahead of the Seahawks, who are 4-2, and the Niners are 5-2. So the 49ers have to keep winning if they want to keep that spot. So it's amazing how the space of about 2-3 weeks can change the whole course of the NFL and just the whole picture of the NFL. So, yep, everyone, that is the kind of recap show part 2. I'll be back tomorrow with just breaking down the whole Niners game a little bit more in depth with the Vikings, as well as just looking forward to our next matchup. I'll see you guys later.